So you guys know how I was talking about how Van Gogh had like a pretty good kit and like could be pretty good if someone would come along and take advantage of all the curse that she's stacking on her opponents and all the buffs she gets for having curse on the field. Well, FGO was like, you know what? Why don't we just put out Ashiya Douman to like completely take advantage of all of that? Van Gogh's a quick meme, Ashiya Douman is a quick meme. It just works out so well. Looking at his hits, he's got 4 hits on his 2 quick cards, 3 on his 2 arts cards, 3 on his 1 buster, and 5 on his extra attack, which those are all really good hits considering how high his NP gain stat is. It's 0.7%, which is actually pretty good, especially when combined with his hits. And then obviously he has that sweet 5 hits on the extra card, which is a nice sweet spot that a lot of servants want to hit. So already just looking at his deck, he's pretty good. Skill 1 is what I like to call his technical skill, like kind of it helps out the entire party. It's not super broken, but it's pretty good, if that makes sense, because it's decreasing the attack of all enemies by 20% for 3 turns, their defense by 30% for 3 turns. It applies terror, which, if you weren't aware, is basically this chance to apply a stun every turn onto every enemy that you're fighting. And then it also applies confusion, which is the same thing except that is for a skill seal instead. And then it applies curse to all enemies. So this is really good because for one, it's giving him a way to apply curse without like his NP or other skills. It's also just really nice because it's going to combine well with Van Gogh, who obviously is going to be one of Ashiya Douman's best partners in the game. But then the decreased attack is going to let him take hits a bit better, and the decreased defense is going to let him do a lot more damage, as well as there being a somewhat reliable chance that you're going to stun somebody. The skill seal is also really nice because sometimes you'll be fighting a boss and they'll like pop their guts or their evade, and you know, not having them do that is really nice, so you can just kill them. There's also when your boss is at like, I don't know, 4 ticks of NP and they need 5, so they just give themselves a tick of NP and NP you and like kill your entire party. So having the ability to seal those skills or just stun them entirely is very good. His second skill is also really good because it gives him 2 procs of guts, which is already really solid, but then he double buffs chaotic and evil allies, including himself, for 50% crit damage on both. So if you're evil, you get 50% crit damage, and if you're chaotic, you get 50% crit damage. Now, Ashiya Douman is both, so he gets 100% crit damage for 3 turns, which I have to bring this up anytime someone has 100% crit damage. That's the same amount of crit damage that Merlin's hero creation skill has. And there was a reason Merlin's hero creation skill only lasted for 1 turn, at least for the critical hit damage, because that's a lot of critical hit damage, and he's giving it to everybody for 3 turns. And remember, you can have 2 of these guys on the field, so you can do like 2 Ashiya Doumans, 1 Van Gogh, and both of them have 200% crit damage, and they both have 2 procs of guts. They've neutered the enemy attack and defense. He gets pretty insane pretty quickly, especially with his final skill, which is an 80% battery. It does the same thing with the chaotic and evil, where they're both individual 20% attack buffs. So mind you, both Ashiya Doumans are going to have like 80% attack with both of their skills combined. And then again, more curse damage, except this one lasts for 5 turns instead of skill 1's, which only lasts for 3 turns, and this curse is a bit stronger at 2000 damage per turn. I do also want to say that his class skills are very good. The territory creation is going to buff his arts cards even more, meaning he's going to have an easier time genning NP. The debuff chance rate from item construction actually matters here because of the terror and the confusion status. It's going to make those a bit more reliable. The magic resistance, I mean, it's always good on any servant because, you know, just having that innate chance to just neg any buffs or debuffs that come your way, always really good. Dark Divine Core is going to be somewhat nice because buffing your instant death rate is going to be pretty nice because his NP obviously is going to have instant death success chances. But then Hedonism is really good as well because it's basically the same skill that like Jalter has, where they get increased NP when they take attack. So he's going to be getting a lot lot of NP if you haven't gathered that. His hit counts are really high, he has a good NP gain already, and then this skill is also going to further help him get his NP back. And honestly, I think his NP is probably like the most mid part about him, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, it is AoE, it's quick, 5 hits, which is fine. You could actually probably get away with using this guy for Scotty looping because his NP gain is so high, he has a battery and everything. You could probably get away with it, but what it does is it applies more curse damage to the enemies. It has a chance to inflict instant death, which is why it might not be the best to try to Scotty loop with him because he might insta-kill somebody and you don't get any NP refund for that. But his overcharge effect is that he increases the percentage of curse damage done to your enemies, which is 10 to 20%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but considering how much curse damage 2 Ashiya Doumans and 1 Van Gogh can put on the enemy in such a quick succession, you could easily get like 30 to 50k damage extra every turn, which is going to, obviously that adds up to a lot of damage. This is basically a better version of the Foreigner that came out like last New Year's. Still forget her name. But where she tried to make burn really good, this actually makes curse pretty decent, especially with this setup, because Van Gogh and Ashiya Douman, it's not like a bad niche team, it's actually good. Like, they work together very well. I mean, their decks synergize pretty well as well, and the buffs that they give each other are really high. Remember that Van Gogh is also doing like the attack buffs for everybody, she's giving crit damage as well. Like, things are going to get out of hand very, very quickly, which is why I would say if you summon for Van Gogh and you got her, you're almost obligated to summon for Ashiya Douman because of how good and how well he synergizes with Van Gogh. Now, I personally don't have Van Gogh, and even then I'm still tempted to summon for this guy because he's just that good, but we do know that the end of the year is coming up. That means we're probably going to get something hype. Obviously, we're going to get the GSSR banners, and then last New Year's we got Yang. The year before that we got Benny Enma, and both of them are pretty good, but there were nothing like super game breaking. It's not like when Dokkan does a New Year, they drop like really good units. We're probably gonna get some like cute waifu characters, so if you're willing to take the L on maybe not having Quartz to summon on New Year's, definitely go ahead and summon for this guy, because the 4-star with him, Mr. Penis Head over there, the K-pop stan, he's actually really good as well. So even if you don't get Ashiya and you end up with Mr. K-pop stan over there, it's still not a bad, you know, investment whatsoever. But let me know what you guys think. Am I overhyping this guy? Is he really just actually a sad sack chump and he's not all that good? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for Ashiya Douman and what your thoughts are on his kit and everything. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.